my name is Homer. I'm with Southwest Mailing Systems in Las Vegas, Nevada. Here to talk a little bit about shape-based mail. One of the concerns that I hear from customers is, how in the world do I know what rate to use? Mail used to be really easy. We used to have first-class mail, standard mail, priority mail. And all we really worried about was what was the weight, and from the weight we could determine the rate. Today the post office has changed things up on us a little bit. We now have shape-based mail, which means in our first-class mail we have first-class letters, we have first-class flats or large envelopes, and we have first-class parcels. And I just realized I don't have a parcel here. Let me grab one. And this could very well be a first-class parcel. A smaller box like this could very well be a first-class parcel. So let me just go talk through a little bit, and let's eliminate some of the confusion that a lot of people have. Most of my customers that I walk into, their mail looks a lot like this. And the concern is that they've gotten mail back, or their customers have gotten mail on the other end, postage due. And they want a machine that will take care of all that. We do have machines that have what we call in-motion weighing. Some people call it weigh on the way, some people call it some other names. The bottom line is it's a machine that can take the piece of mail, and as it goes through the machine, it'll take the weight of the piece, it'll measure the height of the piece, the length of the piece, the thickness of the piece, and do all the work for you that the post office requires to do to determine the rate of the postage. These machines are very, very efficient, and they work very well if that's what you need. How do I know if I need that or not? Well, the first thing to look at is how much postage are you doing. A great rule of thumb is to look at the dollars and cents that you spend every month on your postage. If you're spending $10,000 a month in postage, there's a good bet that you can justify a machine that has the built-in weighing rating system in it. On the other hand, if you're doing $200 a month in postage, probably isn't going to justify a machine that does all the work for you. So let's talk real briefly about the different rates. First of all, I got two different devices here that we can use to manually determine what rate or what class a piece of mail is. The basic rules are, it's a letter if the piece is less than 6 1/8 inch tall and less than 11 1/2 inches long, and is less than 1/4 of an inch thick. Now, to remember all those rules can get complex. On the other side, if I get this handy dandy little first-class mail shape-based pricing template from the United States Postal Service, I can simply grab my piece of mail, put it here in the corner, and I see that dimensionally it falls within maximum size for letters. I can then take my piece, slide it through this slot, and say, you know what, this piece is also easily within the dimensions for the thickness of a letter size piece. Some people also call it a small envelope. Now if I take this piece here and I look and I lay it on here, yep, sure enough, it fits within these dimensions, but when I try to go put it through here, it simply isn't going to fit through here. So what that tells me is this is not a letter size piece. Again, this template that I'm using is a free template you can get from the United States Postal Service. I can also use this device here. This device is a ruler that I lay on my desktop, and I've got it turned the wrong way. Let me turn it the correct way. This ruler here, if I look, it's above the dark blue line here, showing me it's more of a 1/4 inch thick. So again, this piece is really not going to work as a letter rate piece. Now I might be able to take this thing and get out the bread pan roller and see if I can get this thing squished down flat enough to work, and I might be able to get it to accomplish, but then, let's see. You know what, that just about works if I squish it hard enough. But you know, most of the time, that piece is going to be right on the borderline, and if it's a critical legal piece of mail, I may not want to take the chance that it's going to come back postage due if there's a time element involved, or if there's a deadline involved. I may want to change that. Matter of fact, it's interesting, these two pieces of mail actually weigh about the same rate. Let's take a look at this. I put this on the scale here. This piece comes out to 1.9 ounces. This piece is right at 2 ounces. They're basically the same amount of mail in both envelopes within a piece of paper or so. My point for you on this is, if my piece of mail is this thick, why not go ahead and just put it in this envelope and pay the same rate for it? Pay the lower rate for this versus taking a chance I'm going to be higher rated. Now, here's the basic dilemma, folks, is that if I have a letter piece of mail, it starts at 46 cents. If I have a flat or large envelope piece of mail, it starts at 92 cents. So I definitely want to try to keep my rates as low as I can. Now, if I take a piece like this and I say, well, what is this piece? Well, if I lay it on my standard here, I see that it falls within the dimensions of a letter size piece, but man, it definitely isn't going to go through there. Now I look and I see maximum size for large envelopes. Can I slide it through there? It's not going to slide through there either. So that now means that this piece is a parcel, not because of its dimension from a right to left or up and down, but from a thickness perspective. So this piece becomes a parcel. So again, I have envelopes or letters, I have large envelopes or flats, and I have parcel mail. Again, just to be clear, large envelopes and flats are the same thing. Small envelopes and letters are the same thing. Okay? So, this piece here, you say, well, what is this piece? Well, if I lay this on my template, I take a look here and I measure my dimensions here. This piece is is larger than the small envelope or letter size, but is clearly within the dimensions for the large or flat sized envelope. Okay? So, with that said, what do I do now? Just about every machine out there is similar to this scale. Where when I put a piece on here, I can choose my first class, and I have a first class letter, a first class flat, and a first class parcel rate. So basically all my rates are right on there. So I can choose, but I know because of the size of this that I need a first class flat. So it'll give me rates based on a first class flat. If I put a letter on there, I can go back and choose my first class letter. Now I'm only showing you the rate in this case. I'm only showing you an external scale here, but virtually every machine out there that's at least a modern machine is going to have all of those rates in there. So all I have to do is determine, is it a letter, is it a flat, is it a parcel? And I can do it with either this style of a template or I can do it with this style of a template. Either one will help me to determine what class of mail. Is it a letter? Is it a flat? Is it a parcel? Is it a small envelope? Is it a large envelope? Is it a parcel? Thanks for listening. I'll talk again next time, and I'll demonstrate actually using a machine to rate these machine pieces. Thank you.